What's up, everybody? On this episode of Disrupt You, I'm back, baby, and I'm going to talk about pre-need marketing versus at-need marketing and where does social media play in the mix of that. Also going to look at relationships versus sales marketing. There's a big difference, and a lot of funeral homes are doing it wrong. And the last thing that we're going to cover, which is going to be dynamite, is why boosting every single post for a buck or two, that's not a strategy. Ah, man, it feels so good to be back with y'all. I've missed you. Yeah, a lot's been going on. Conferences are coming back. I've been at a few meetings, so I've seen a few of you. I got to speak in the state of New York at their annual convention, which was amazing. NFDA is coming up next month. Lots of things happening this week. I'm going to hang out at the ICCFA Fall Management Conference, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But man, welcome to another episode of Disrupt You. I've got an important three topics really today that I'm going to break down for you, but let's get into number one. Number one, Ryan, is Facebook more for pre-need marketing or at-need marketing? And this is a question I get a lot because a lot of funeral homes are looking at Facebook marketing and then looking at Google marketing, like Google AdWords and search. And there's a big difference between the two, meaning that search is going to be more of your at-need. What's going to happen when a family has a death and they don't have a connection with the funeral home? Google is where they go to search. So finding you via Google is going to be more of the at-need family, where pre-need, the idea with Facebook is that it's a relationship platform. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But we're really building a relationship with that consumer, and we're finding them through targeted campaigns and connecting with them before they're ever in an at-need or pre-need scenario. And the idea is this: if they go to Google in an at-need situation, all of your competitors are coming up in Google as well. So the opportunity for them to just click on your firm, now you've got other firms competing, and maybe they're paying for AdWords, and you're almost rolling the dice if the consumer is going to Google of whether or not they're going to find your firm versus one of your competitors. Where with Facebook, we're targeting them, we're finding them prior to them ever needing your services, whether it be pre-need or at-need, and establishing a relationship continually through that content engagement. That way, when they are in an at-need or pre-need scenario, they're not even going to go to Google because they've already got a relationship with you. They're coming direct to you. So absolutely, Facebook is more of the pre-need strategy of marketing, but really it's just basic relationship marketing. And I'm going to talk about that in the next question. But relationship marketing is the value of connecting with that consumer. So if we can establish a relationship, we'll keep them from going to Google, where competitors never enter the picture. All right, look, so I'm going to talk about relationship marketing versus just good old sales marketing. Just relationship marketing versus marketing. There's a big difference, because here's the deal. Traditional marketing, in the normal sense, when we just talk about marketing, is transactional, right? It's focused on closing a sale, where relationship marketing is putting the relationship or the interaction with the customer at the forefront. So if we look at funeral home marketing, cemetery marketing, let's just say death care marketing in general, a lot of times where we mess up is we try to make it transactional versus relationship driven. The value of the relationship is this: like, let's just look at the data. 80% of funeral home business comes from relationships, pre-existing relationships. You served that family before, you serve somebody else in that family, you know that person, you go to church with them, somebody on your staff knows them, they have a relationship with somebody on your team. 80% of your business is relationship driven. If that's the case, how can we spend the majority of our money on transactional sales driven marketing? Here's the thing: when we focus on relationship marketing is organic. It's building the relationship. It's not salesy. It's the interaction. It's getting continual likes and comments and shares on posts. It's DMing back and forth with the consumer. Again, it's putting the relationship first. When we put the relationship first and we put the business sales side second, We put the consumer at the front. When we put the consumer at the front, now we're focused on cultivating long-term relationships, even lifetime relationships. You're serving a family once every 15 years on average. That's a long time to stay engaged with somebody. If we're not putting the relationship at the forefront, they're going to lose interest because it's just close, 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 close. So build a relationship with your audience, your community, the prospects, your customers. Get customers that you've already served, families already served, re-engaging with content. Extend the relationship and amplify the relationship. So when we look at, Disrupt and what Disrupt does, and we're doing a complete webinar on this coming up, so watch for it. Relationship marketing and how to win at relationship marketing in the funeral profession. Relationship marketing is at the core of who you are. It's why the funeral profession can grow and succeed, is because you have relationships with the consumer. Again, 80% of your business is relationship driven. We've got to put relationships back at the front. That's what Disrupt tries to do with social media marketing. That's not what we're trying to do. That's exactly what we are doing. That organic, real content, not the automated bullcrap grief and inspirational post over and over and over and over and over and over, and then a pre-need post over and over. Like, pay $99, go get that. You're going to get what you're paying, right? Like, you're going to get garbage. Put the relationship first, the real content, the organic content, the content focused on who you are, what you do, how you do it better than the consumer or better than your competitors. And it's focused on your consumer. So relationship marketing, let's bring that back to the forefront, because traditional marketing is transactional. Relationship marketing puts the consumer at the forefront.
This is Ty Durkis, funeral director for 34 years and owner of Bolin Durkis Funeral Home. Many don't know, Ty is an avid gardener. Ty produces some of Southeastern Ohio's best tomatoes. Ty treats them so well you can actually hear them whispering. This gentleman is many things: a father, a husband, and community member, but a boring, plain Jane glazed donut eater, he is not.
I've been honored to serve this community for over 34 years, and our family will continue to serve you well in the future.
All right, last one. Question, Ryan, should I be boosting every single post on Facebook? This is a terrible strategy because there's a lot of posts, one, that aren't really valuable to boost, because like if you just have automated grief and inspirational content, and boosting it is doing absolutely nothing for you. Now, if you've watched the previous video and you're working with us on building relationship marketing, there's value in boosting some of your content. And there's a strategy around boosting, and we won't get into that because it's gonna, like, if you don't care, you're not gonna really understand it. But no, do not spend $2 to $3 or $1 boosting every single post. One, you're not going to get much for $1, maybe a handful of people. Not really valuable. You're better off having a long-term strategy running content through Facebook Ads Manager, because there's different targeting parameters and all kinds of technical things that go into being able to stretch that dollar further and getting higher return for it. It also depends on what the goal of the content is. If you're just trying to get engagement and you want to get engagement from the audience that is already currently following you, then boosting can work. So look, we take whatever the ad budget is of the funeral home that we're working with, and we do projections, and we get the right ad budget for the budget that they have plus the return that we're getting for it, and we find the right formula. We spend about 10% of that ad budget on boosting content. That may be all behind one post, that may be split up over multiple posts in the month, and maybe boosting it to people that don't follow the page because we're trying to get eyeballs and get people into the funnel, and maybe boosting it to just people that follow the page to get people re-engaged around content to have better organic reach. There's a number of different strategies around boosting and spending a Facebook ad budget. But if you're listening to a marketer that's telling you to boost every post for $1 to $2, they're not a Facebook marketer, number one. Number two, it's a bad strategy. Listen to people that are actually doing it on a day-to-day basis and go Google it for yourself. You're not going to find any big marketer in the Facebook world that is recommending boosting every single post for a couple bucks a day. So no, it's not a good strategy, but there is a very effective, efficient way to spend smaller dollar amounts and get much higher success through boosting and through the Facebook Ad Manager. All right, that wraps up whatever episode number This is of DISRUPTu. Look, you can always email us your questions. I've got a lot of questions stockpiled. We're going to be creating a lot more content, but I love the engagement. Hammer us, pepper us with your questions, leave them in the comments, comment on this video if you don't agree, comment on the video if you do agree, share it. This is great content that we're putting out for free. It's valuable to you. And look, if you listen and you digest what we're saying, you are going to have much higher success with social media, whether you're using our company or just doing it on your own. The principles that we're giving you apply across the board. So make sure that you're digesting this and then you're implementing it, because change and success can only happen when you implement the knowledge that you're getting. Look, until next time, keep disrupting.